For the center, I've got a center pole adapter, but the release is just the same. So I'm going to install it, square it up, tighten these side bolts, use the supplied wrench. You can go ahead and bear down on this one a little bit. Get that to hold tight. And as you can see, when this pole is standing up, this assembly is going to be oriented downward. So slip that on, leave it at the top. May have to come back and adjust this once I see how much sag it's taking up. Crank that down a bit. I'm going to tie a string to that pin so I don't have to drop the whole net to get everything started once I'm ready to capture. So I just tie this string on, and at the same time, because there's a center pole, you've got a center wire. So I'm going to attach that as well. Okay, this is the way these connectors work. Male and female, you can kind of line them up visually. You insert them together. Okay, you can feel it sort of settle in. And then there's a locking ring on one end that you can twist to lock. Okay, and I'm going to do that on the center. Okay, I threw the net, or the string and the wire over the outside of the net, and I'm lifting the center pole, and I'm making sure none of the mesh netting or my hat is hung up in the center. Everything looks good, connections are good. So now I'm walking up the pole, pulling the base towards me. Again, second set of hands is very useful in this part, but it can be done by yourself. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, so I'm going to set my stake just beside that mark, and then I'm going to raise the entire net and put in one additional pole section. I'm going to lift up the entire net. Okay, so now we're going to attach guy ropes to each side of the net. And this does two things. It supports the net, it actually raises each side, but it also increases the sides of the net to where the sides are not bowed in, they're not pulled in. But when the net falls on your animals and they run and do their thing, fly, it also keeps the net in position, because obviously the center pole is in the center of the net. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to attach guy ropes to each side of the net. Now we're good. We just got to hook up the connecting wires to each corner. We're ready to catch some animals. Okay, now we're attaching the receiver. Velcro straps, put it to the pole, extend the antenna a little bit. Okay, now the short wire is labeled to the receiver, to the first corner. The remote and receiver will work up to 200 yards away, maybe more than that, but that is farther than you want to run. When you drop this net, you want to be much closer to that. You need to get your hands on these animals and physically restrain them as quickly as possible to prevent injury. Okay, so we've got our connecting wires. What I'm going to do is wrap one end around the pole, not necessarily in a knot, but we don't want it to slip down. And again, the connectors, they press together, and there is a locking ring, and I'm not going to lock it. We're in Arizona. It's not going to rain. It's not going to snow. You can lock it if you want, but the net is under tension. So when it releases, the poles are going to flex. You run the possibility of breaking connectors. I'm simply going to pull up on it. Bit of slack for the bounce. Hold it there, loop it through. I'm going to loop it around again just because that's what I like to do. And press them together. Work our way around. Now make sure you run the wires over top of the guy ropes. Okay, now the final connection, I've got the center wire that we threw out over the top of the net so we don't break the connection. We're going to attach it to the final corner. As you can see, the sides are pulled tight. I'm over 6 feet tall. This is 8 feet sides. You'll see in some of our capture footage that this net falls and is on the animal's back before they ever even react. Your system's under constant 12-volt power. All you're doing with the remote control is turning the power on and off. It can't fail. We're going to attach our 12-volt power supply. This lead comes straight off the receiver. What I like to do is wrap it around the base of the pole, just because animals coming and going, feeding, that sort of thing, and when you drop the net, you don't want them tangled up in it. So I secure it to the base of the pole. You've got your two power leads, and black to black, red to red. Now we're going to power the system. Press both buttons on the remote simultaneously. You can hear it lock on. Now it's okay to go ahead. We're going to pull all of our pins in each corner and the center pole as well. Okay, before you pull each pin, you want to make sure that the magnet is connected. There shouldn't be any wiggle. Once you're sure the magnet and the weight are engaged, go ahead and pull the pin. We're ready to capture. Okay, to make sure the center pole is engaged, I'm just going to shake it a bit. There's no wiggle in there. That magnet's engaged as well. I'm going to step out here and pull the pin with this string. Okay, we're set. Connections are made. Ready to go. Power's on. All you do at this point, your animals feed under the net. When you're ready, press both buttons, same time. I'm Tyler Gare. I appreciate your business. Thank you.